The city never slept, and neither did Marcus Chen. At 24, he was already making waves in the tech world, his startup valued at millions, his penthouse apartment overlooking the glittering skyline of downtown. But success had come with a price: long hours, endless meetings, and a growing emptiness that no amount of money seemed to fill. It was a particularly brutal Tuesday evening when everything changed. Marcus had just left another high-stakes investor meeting, his designer suit wrinkled from 12 hours of presentations. The autumn rain drummed against the windows of his Tesla as he navigated through the upscale district toward his apartment. His phone buzzed incessantly with notifications, stock updates, meeting requests, social media mentions, the digital symphony of his overwhelming success. As he turned onto Maple Street, something caught his eye in the amber glow of a streetlight. A small, trembling figure huddled beneath a park bench, soaked to the bone. At first glance, Marcus almost dismissed it as just another piece of urban debris. But then he saw the eyes, large, brown, and filled with a desperation that cut through his entrepreneurial armor like a blade. It was a dog, a golden retriever mix, probably no more than 2 years old, with matted fur that had once been pristine. The animal's ribs were visible through its wet coat, and around its neck hung a torn collar with a faded tag that swayed with each shiver. Marcus pulled over without thinking. In his world of calculated risks and strategic decisions, this was pure instinct. He stepped out into the rain, his Italian leather shoes squelching in the puddles as he approached the frightened animal. "Hey there, buddy," he whispered, his voice softer than it had been in months. The dog's ears perked up, but fear kept it pressed against the cold concrete. Marcus crouched down, ignoring the damage to his expensive suit, and extended his hands slowly. For a moment, time seemed suspended. Here was Marcus Chen, the boy who had grown up in a cramped apartment above his family's laundromat, who had clawed his way to success through sheer determination, now kneeling in the rain for a stranger's lost pet. The irony wasn't lost on him. He had more money than he could spend in a lifetime. Yet this moment felt like the first real thing he'd done in years. The dog sniffed his hand tentatively, then inched forward. Marcus felt his heart break a little as he noticed the animal's paws were raw and bleeding. This beautiful creature had been wandering for days, maybe weeks, searching for home. "Come on, let's get you somewhere warm," Marcus murmured, gently scooping the dog into his arms. The animal was heavier than expected, but also lighter than it should have been. The contradiction of malnutrition and a still strong frame. As they walked to his car, Marcus felt the dog's rapid heartbeat against his chest, a rhythm that seemed to sync with his own growing sense of purpose. The nearest veterinary emergency clinic was 15 minutes away. During the drive, Marcus found himself talking to his passenger. About the rain, about the city, about how everything would be okay now. The dog, whom Marcus had started calling Chance in his mind, seemed to listen, those intelligent brown eyes never leaving his face in the rearview mirror. Dr. Sarah Williams, the veterinarian on duty, was a woman in her 50s with kind eyes and gentle hands. She examined Chance with the thoroughness of someone who genuinely cared about her patients. The news was both heartening and heartbreaking. The dog was fundamentally healthy, but severely malnourished and dehydrated. More importantly, the microchip revealed a story that would change everything. "His name is Charlie," Dr. Williams said, reading from her computer screen. "He belongs to the Rodriguez family. But Marcus, there's something you should know. I've been treating their daughter Emma for leukemia. The family has been through so much lately." She explained that 8-year-old Emma Rodriguez had been battling cancer for over a year. Charlie was her therapy dog, trained specifically to provide comfort during her treatments. 3 weeks ago, during one of Emma's worst episodes, the back gate had been accidentally left open during a family emergency rush to the hospital. Charlie had wandered out, and despite the family's desperate searches, he had vanished into the urban maze. Marcus felt something shift inside his chest. Here he was, complaining about the emptiness of success, while a little girl was fighting for her life and mourning the loss of her best friend. The perspective was sobering and inspiring all at once. "Can I take him to her?" Marcus asked, surprising himself with the request. Dr. Williams smiled, the first genuine smile Marcus had seen in weeks. "I think that would mean everything to them." The Rodriguez family lived in a modest two-story house in a neighborhood Marcus had visited since his childhood. As his Tesla pulled up to the curb, he could see warm lights spilling from the windows and silhouettes moving behind sheer curtains. Charlie, now cleaned, fed, and wearing a new collar Marcus had purchased, began whimpering with excitement as familiar scents reached his nose. Maria Rodriguez answered the door, her face drawn with exhaustion, but her eyes still holding the fierce love of a mother. When she saw Charlie in Marcus's arms, she gasped, covering her mouth with trembling hands. "Charlie, oh my God, Charlie!" she called over her shoulder. "Emma, he's home." The reunion that followed would remain etched in Marcus's memory forever. 8-year-old Emma appeared at the top of the stairs, bald from chemotherapy, but radiant with joy. She was wearing pajamas covered in golden retriever prints, a detail that made Marcus's throat tighten with emotion. Charlie bounded up the stairs with newfound energy, and the collision of girl and dog was pure magic. Emma hid her face in his fur, her small body shaking with sobs of relief and happiness. Charlie seemed to understand his role perfectly, remaining still as a statue while she clung to him, his tail wagging in careful, gentle arcs. "We thought we'd lost him forever," Rodriguez said, his voice thick with gratitude as he shook Marcus's hand. "Emma hasn't smiled like this in weeks." "You don't understand what you've done for our family," but Marcus was beginning to understand. As he sat in their modest living room, drinking coffee from mismatched mugs and listening to Emma tell him about Charlie's tricks and favorite games, he realized he had found something he hadn't even known he was looking for. The warmth in this house wasn't generated by expensive heating systems or luxury furnishings. It came from love, pure and simple. Over the following weeks, Marcus found himself returning to the Rodriguez house. Initially, he told himself it was just to check on Charlie's recovery, but soon he admitted the truth. These visits had become the highlight of his week. He brought Emma books about dogs, helped with odd jobs around the house, and even coordinated with Dr. Williams to ensure Emma's medical bills were mysteriously covered by insurance that he secretly funded. The transformation wasn't just in the Rodriguez family. Marcus's business partners noticed changes in him too. He started leaving the office earlier, delegating more effectively, and making decisions with a newfound clarity that seemed to stem from understanding what truly mattered. His company's culture began to shift as well, with Marcus implementing programs for employee wellness and community outreach that reflected his evolving values. 3 months later, Emma's cancer went into remission. The celebration at the Rodriguez house was small but profound, just family. Marcus, and of course, Charlie, who seemed to sense the significance of the moment. As Marcus watched Emma run around the backyard with her beloved companion, both of them healthy and happy, he realized that saving Charlie had actually saved him too. The young entrepreneur who had once measured success in market valuations and profit margins now understood that the greatest returns came from investments in kindness. That night, as he drove home through the same streets where he'd first found Charlie, Marcus rolled down his windows despite the cold. He wanted to hear the city differently now, not as the soundtrack to his ambition, but as the symphony of countless lives intersecting, each with the potential for unexpected grace. Charlie's story became more than just a rescue tale. It became a reminder that sometimes the most profound success comes not from what we achieve for ourselves, but from what we're willing to do for others without expecting anything in return. In a world that often celebrates individual accomplishment above all else, the simple act of stopping to help a lost soul, whether human or animal, can create ripples of goodness that extend far beyond what we can imagine. And in that truth, Marcus Chen found something more valuable than any startup valuation or business deal. He found himself. Like and subscribe for more videos.